Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is episode 4 of Muay TV. I'm here with my co-host, Justin Samaro, and tonight we have special guest, Vince Murdock.
Hello, thanks for having me.
What's up, Vince?
Vince is a professional MMA fighter. He's fighting out of Team Alpha Male here in Sacramento, California. Vince is a veteran of the sport with over a decade of fights. He's known for his comeback from brain surgery and will be returning to the cage May 17th at A1 Combat 20. Vince is also a competitive cyclist and founder of Enjoy Cycling Club. Vince, thanks for coming down and joining us today. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Vince, thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's been quite some time since I've been in front of the camera and a mic, so this is cool. Thank you.
Yeah, we wanted to get you in here. I actually wanted to get you in here months ago and talk about what you have going on with cycling and what's going on down with Uriah and the guys at Alpha Male. And then you scheduled a fight.
Yeah.
Both you and the boss. Uriah is going to jump back in there as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm not entirely sure what he has going on. I think it's more of a jiu-jitsu thing, but it could be a fight. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's not. He hasn't said
man.
what he's gonna do.
Yeah,
because we're all guessing. Yeah. We all assume it's.
I think
jiu-jitsu.
I think that's what he wants. So I'm gonna keep it at that.
Oh, there you go. All right, cool. Hell yeah. Little surprise action there.
Yeah, but it is pretty cool to see him competing still, man. He's been a mentor of mine for as long as I can remember, and he's a good example of like still going after things, and not that he's an old man or anything, but he's still doing the damn thing, and he's been in the sport for a very long time, so it's cool. I
in great shape. I see him, and we saw him at A1 Muay Thai when we did some interviews there, mm-hmm. and I asked him about it. I was just joking too. I'm like, "You looking good? Are you gonna make a comeback?" And he was, I might do the jiu-jitsu thing and whatnot. But yeah, I love to see the fighters staying in the gym and staying in shape as martial artists after they're out of the fight game.
He's even more so into it than I remember. And in fact, his jiu-jitsu is better than I remember it. I would argue that he's a better jiu-jitsu guy than he was when I knew him when I was younger. When we first, I've been training with him since 2011, and he gives me more problems now than he ever has. I think he takes it easy on me now, to be honest.
He's done some high-level competitions in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he is good.
He's very,
I will say, I don't want to say he's like underrated, because then I feel like his jiu-jitsu is very high level, and he's always been a student of the game. He's always looking to improve, and he's in the gym more than most professional athletes, in my opinion. He's still in there, like whether it's teaching, giving back, or learning himself, he's still in there just as much as anyone. So,
do you think that since he's taken a step back from fighting, that it's given him an opportunity to be on the mats a little bit more and roll and
so we did
out on that?
Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit, and he said that when he was training, he was so much more focused on the striking part, not like just stand-up, but the MMA based was like, it was jiu-jitsu for MMA, and he said that was primarily the focus, and not that like we didn't all think that way, but to see him actually play a jiu-jitsu game now is cool, because he has, a unique style that is unique to himself, and when you see him roll, you're just like, oh man, he gets everybody with that, and you just watch him go with another person, it's like, fuck that move, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like if he gets your neck, it's a wrap like this. But he's just got, a massive tool belt of techniques and stuff. And yeah, man, I love the guy. He's fucking good.
That's cool. His background is wrestling, so I'm sure he's, you get those collegiate wrestlers that come into jiu-jitsu. They're already a problem. You're like, damn, why are you so hard? You're like, you're taking me down. You want to stand. You don't just sit down. What's the deal? Which
is also unique too, because he actually has a legit jiu-jitsu game versus like a wrestling style. It's very. He's got a very grappler-like mindset when he plays jiu-jitsu, and he's fucking good, man.
That's cool.
Well, I want to see it.
Yeah,
and you know what? If he does get back in there, he's taking such good care of himself that I'm sure it'll be fine. Right? He's going to put on a hell of a show, and he's so loved by the mixed martial art community that it would be great to see him in there again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a huge night of fights, that's for sure.
Big draw. It'll be a big draw. And that's at the Hard Rock?
No,
I'm not sure. His is I want to say
Visalia.
Yeah, Visalia.
So
His is at Visalia.
A1
right?
Combat 21. So Vince is A1 Combat 20. So it's
Yeah.
the 20th show.
And that yours is at the Hard Rock, though, right?
Mine's
Yes.
at the Hard Rock.
Yeah, okay.
May 17th.
May 17th.
Come see your boy.
Yeah.
Make sure you use my name at checkout.
So how's training?
Plug.
Man, I've never really let off the gas, to be completely honest. It's going great, in many ways. In many ways, more than one, I feel better than I've ever been in this sport. I feel like I'm smarter than I've ever been. I hit harder. I'm more technical. A better mind for the game. But one thing I don't have is the youth. So it's like a balance. I won't say maybe I am. I'm a little more frail than I used to be, and my body's less resilient. And but other than that, training's great, man. The cardio's new. I'm not as heavy as outside of camp. A lot of that's due to the cycling and stuff too. But I've also grown up a lot too. When I was young when I started the sport, and a lot of nights going from win a fight, go to the bar. You're out in the bar scene, being a young man. Now I'm married and have kids, so a lot of that stuff, doesn't really faze me anymore, or like it doesn't appealing to me anymore. So my life is more focused on trying to get the most out of it. So
You're the KG veteran now.
yeah.
And I think that experience, your approach in the gym is smarter.
Definitely.
Also in the ring, right? You're coming back to the ring. You have all that experience and all the years that have passed by. So even the approach in the strategy to the fight might be a little bit different, which can be a great thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Make all the difference.
Yeah.
How old are you, Vince?
31. I'll be 32 in March.
Okay.
This month. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting up there, dude. I feel like I'm fucking 40-something, 41.
Well, I see the work that you're putting in, and not just in the martial art gym, but the hours you spend on the bike. So you're definitely not burnt.
Yeah.
A lot of the fighters, they're not putting in the gym time you are, and then on top of that, I don't even know how many hours on the bike you're doing. But yeah, man, it's inspiring.
Thank you.
How do you find that balance between, the cycling, the now coming back to pro fighting, being a new dad?
It's definitely difficult. Like, first and foremost, my wife's like a superhero. If she allows me to live a very, I don't know, allows me to do a lot. And, I'm incredibly thankful for that, because
She helps you out on the back end.
oh my gosh.
Man, hats off to the wives.
Makes your
Hats
lunch.
off,
Yeah.
Changes the diapers when you're not there.
Dude, it's it's cool because I do have a unique schedule that allows me to be around often. Our practices are in the morning, then I'm home, and then if I can ride in the morning or in the afternoon, and I can jam 2 hours out, 3 hours here and there and stuff. So
I see you commute on the bike.
sometimes, yeah. So that's the other good part too. Is I live right off the bike trail. It's 20 miles one way, so I can get, which is roughly an hour. So I can ride to the gym, get 20 miles in, do my gym thing, ride back, boom, 40 miles, done.
And then
on top of my whole gym day. So,
that 1 hour spin to the gym, that's just like enough to wake you up, right?
yeah, it's like a shot of caffeine sometimes. It's
Yeah.
enough to really get me going. It just depends too on the day, and you don't always have to do it, but it also depends on the what's scheduled at the gym. If I'm grappling, I generally don't like to get locked into a cycling position too long, but like if it's striking and stuff, I can usually bang that out pretty fine. So.
Right. Yeah, I used to do that back at my old gym, and I was the GM there, so I was going there to work.
Yeah.
And I would show up, and it was just a little short ride, but it was enough to get me going.
Dude, seeing
and
the blood going. And
It was
your
like
heart
I
rate
was
up.
on drugs.
Yeah.
I'm like running the warm up.
Yeah,
I'm
you're all
sweating.
pumped up.
Yeah.
It's crazy when your legs, some about like
Yeah.
working your legs out,
Yeah.
like even more so than upper body, that it really just like
All
that
that blood's
blood
going up
flow
to the
just,
brain, dude.
yeah, it just starts
I
pumping.
thought I was going to get in trouble with the boss because I was,
Just too intense. in the
flying
gym.
around. Yeah, but I'm no, it's the bike.
yeah, it's not the Adderall.
Yeah. So What are we doing? What are we doing, Vince? Are we trying to make another push into the UFC or what?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, when I started fighting, it was always to just, MMA to me was just kind of optimizing whatever my abilities were. I wanted to bring out the best version of myself, just as a human too. And I thought martial arts was that for me too. It saved my life in more ways than one. So when I started fighting, I just kind of wanted to see how far I could take it. I didn't have a big belief in my abilities at the time until I met Uriah, and Uriah was just like, dude, you can take this as far as you want. And for the longest time, I don't know, where I grew up, those kind of things didn't happen to people like me from that town, and nobody told me I could do those things or live that way or reach for those things. I'm from Michigan, in a small town, Lapeer and Waterford. And so, a unique upbringing. And then when I found my way out here, you're watching these guys like Uriah, Chad at the time, Joseph, TJ, and all of them, and it's just super inspiring. And and you're in there every day, so you kind of get a gauge of like where you stand in the room. So it gives you kind of a gauge of where you stand in the universe of the sport, and it helped build my belief over time. And then, and after a while, I was like, you know what? I am fucking good. And I feel like I do belong in the UFC. And so, I wish I realized it younger. I guess if that was my biggest regret, was like to have a little more confidence in myself, when I had the ability to, even more of the time and ability to do it then, than I do now. And so, the push to get back in the UFC is great. If it doesn't happen, and the goal's the same, man, it's till the wheels fall off. I love the sport. It's given so much to me, and I feel like no regret. You know what I mean? I don't want to like live my life with any regret. Mm-hmm. Like if I don't make it, at least I would have known that I went after it. And if I don't try, I'm just gonna be wondering like, what the fuck? Maybe what would have happened the whole time. So yeah.
Well, what a team. That must be an amazing experience to have those guys as your training partners, and the amount of athletes that have come out of Uriah's program to have success in the UFC. Yeah, you're on that track,
bro. I've been there so long that I've watched every era, and like sometimes it's kind of frustrating because like I've been a part of like when Uriah was in the mix, TJ's in the mix, then Cody was in the mix, and then Feely and like all these guys in these different eras, and it's like my time, and I've had my opportunities too, and I've had some adversities to overcome that kind of halted me in the process, but at the end of the day, like it's still a life that I wish I'd rather have than not have at all. So
and you're in it.
Yeah.
Right now, that's like, now, you still got the years.
I still got fucking 10 years.
You still got the years.
Yeah. I started when I was.
That's what Faber tells me all the time. He's like, dude, I didn't even get into the UFC till I was 32. And I was like, that's because the UFC had only been around for 5 fucking years.
Yeah. Because you're old, dude.
Yeah. No, I try not to say that around him, but he's a good sport of mine.
So that shot at the UFC, you went and did the Dana White Contender Series. Is that what it was called?
No, I was signed to the UFC in 2019. I took a fight on 10 days notice. And it was definitely an opportunity that I felt that I'd earned. I think I was 10-2 at the time.
Nice.
And I get called up, take the fight. I'm there. I do some of my scans in Sacramento, but when I get it's in Minneapolis. Yes, Minneapolis. And Francis Ngannou was fighting. Who was the fuck for it. Anyway, I know he was on the card because that was like a big deal. I was like, holy shit, I'm fighting on the same card as Francis. But anyway, we do some scans, and for some reason, I go through all the tests. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's Thursday. I'm getting ready to cut the last bit of weight, and they want me to go see. And I'd already had the brain scan. They want me to go see the neurologist or whatever to go over the scan with me. And he so we get there. I have my coach Mike Malott, who's also doing really well in the UFC right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And a good story about Malott, which is also very inspiring to me, was he'd given up on his UFC dream. Not given up, but he had put that on the back burner for a long time. He's like, I just don't want to do it.
He's young though, right?
Yeah, but like I helped him move to Sacramento, and like at the time he was good with just being a coach, and he loved the sport. And so anyway, he was my coach at the time, and I brought him out there, and then me and this neurologist or whatever, we were like, chopping it up, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna be at the fights, and he was like telling me about his black belt and taekwondo or something, that they all do.
Yeah.
And I was like, sick, man, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that sport wasn't around. Anyway, so I was like, sick, dude. So
You're tough.
up.
You're still tough.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You can kick those boards, dude.
Yeah.
We believe you.
Tough on him. But anyway, we were looking up at the, he pops the scan in, and we looking at the screen together, and he looking at me, and he was like, maybe it's a bad one. So he's like swiping through them, and he's just like, I don't know what to say. These scans aren't normal. Have you ever had a stroke? Is what he said, and he's like, "Oh, a stroke? Right? Do I look like I've had a stroke?" And I was like, "Dude, can I bring in my cornerman? This is it was getting to the point where I was like uncomfortable." And so he lets me bring in, Mike, and the guy at the time, he's like, "I don't know what to say. Your brain's compensating, but it shouldn't be compensating. Meaning, if you lose any blood to your head flow, from your artery." You will not wake back up. He said something stupid. My manager was Jason House. He was really upset with the guy for a long time. He said something like, if he goes to sleep, he won't wake up. He had a thing for it, but it really pissed my manager off. And basically, something about a nap. Anyway, can't remember. Basically, what they were saying was I had at the time, they didn't know what it was. It was that they thought there was a clog, one of my arteries in my on the left side of my brain was completely clogged. And then I was like, fuck that thing. I got my brain scan at a janky hospital. That's not even mine. And he's like, you think? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm right here. And he's like, all right, good point. So he sends me to the ER. We go get more brain scans, pop it back in. And he's like, fuck.
Okay, so he was wrong.
No, it was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they pulled, and then I was like, well, obviously I've made it this far. So I've my body's learned how to adapt. And I was like, I'll be fine for one more day. And he's like, we'll see what the commission says. So they're trying to get it to go through, and they don't go through. And then, I talked to the UFC doctors, and they're like, we don't want to say too much, but we see some abnormalities more often than you think, right? And it's all private and stuff. So, you're not going to know what guys in the UFC have these. But he's like, you'd be surprised the amount of stuff that these athletes have that you would think not be able to compete.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, sweet, sick. And at the time I didn't know I had a brain disease or anything. I just knew that I had something that needed more testing. So for the next 2 weeks after the fight, I was like, I'm just going to get put on another card. I know it. This is going to be sick. I'm still going to have my UFC debut, whatever. And, we go further down this rabbit hole, and then Uriah gets me, to go to Stanford, and then they find the disease. It's called Muay. It's basically where the arteries in your brain begin to narrow over time. And so the shitty part about it is that, it's still good at happening to me. It's not over. It's going to narrow till it narrows, So I had one procedure on the left side of my brain, which is an indirect and a direct bypass. It's so basically two bypasses, I guess. So I have that, and the nature of it is it'll eventually keep going. Right now, I think it's under control for the time being. It's just something that we monitor now going forward. But one of the biggest things was they couldn't figure out how I hadn't experienced a stroke prior to that. Completely closed by the time they found it. Meaning there was no blood flow to the left side of my head. Or I don't know,
jiu-jitsu.
That's what he did. So I told Uriah that.
Wrong.
Uriah, so when he found out, he's like, and he was asking behind the scenes, his buddy, he's like, hey, Vince has this thing. What would happen if he went out or whatever? And they're like, oh, dude, he would die. And then he was just like, dude, He was like,
"You cannot get that
dude,
on
we
the
were
mat."
just training. He helped me for the whole camp. He goes, I was just on Vince's neck like 2 days ago, like choking the fuck out of him. And I hate tapping, so it's like, it was just crazy to think that like. That
At
was
any
all
moment
together.
in time, like someone.
But in my opinion, and I'll just say this: in one, getting, fighting. I wish I'd gotten the call up sooner because I probably would have found the thing sooner. But at the end of the day, had I not gotten that brain scan, the doctor was like, "You probably would have, had a massive stroke in like 6 months." He's like, "There's just no way that your body could continue to compensate at a completely clogged colluded artery." It was completely.
So you had no symptoms. You had no idea that something was going on.
Fucking fight
Headaches?
every day. Dude.
I know,
What are you
but-
talking about? You don't.
But Vince, I had some weird. I was telling these boys.
See?
I had some reoccurring kind of illness, and I never had a brain scan, but it was kind of something that came and went, and you could feel your body, especially as an athlete.
Yeah, you're more
and
in
you think
tune.
you have this super artery in your head.
Yeah.
That you'd have some kind of vision or dream.
Something.
There wasn't anything.
Was this
So,
about
I
a year
mean-
ago?
What?
When this was going on with you? About a year ago or so?
Like
It
you
was
said,
when I owned my own
comes and
gym.
goes.
Oh, okay.
It was like a.
That's called stress, brother.
It was physical symptoms of stress.
Called the
bro.
IRS.
Shit.
But no, there were times where I'd lose feeling in my feet, like and stuff like that. Like I had symptoms, but like dude, we were getting I've been getting tossed on my head and stuff for years.
Nothing
And
where
hard
you're
to
like,
tell.
nothing
Right.
that stood out to me. I guess my
Yeah.
hands, sometimes were numb and stuff.
But that's like so hard to say. I mean, it could be, the weather.
Yeah. I had one experience cutting weight when I was like 25 or 20. No, I think I was 25. I went to Canada. I cut like 25 pounds in like 2 days. It was insane. And I had a really like half body cramp. Like half my body was just like seized up. And it's the only time I can think of anything that ever happened weird to me.
Wow.
Was it on the left side of your body? Do you remember?
It was on the right. And the thing about your
Oh,
brain,
compensates. Yeah,
well,
that's
it-
right.
It switches. So if anything does happen, it will be on my right side because it's on my left, if that makes sense. Which is
Yeah.
super weird. But that I remember that happened to me, and it took a few seconds, but I want to say that was like the first time I ever experienced anything that I thought was like was that a TIA, like a mini stroke or something.
Damn.
And it was wild.
So you're not going to fight in the UFC. They wouldn't give you your medical.
No. So
They gave you your medical?
Yeah, they allowed me to come back. They gave me they sent me to the Contender. My first goal when having the brain surgery was to come back within a year of having brain surgery. For some reason, I had woke up with like this massive burst of like, kick-ass mentality of like, I'm going to show life who's boss. I mean, I had at the time I was like super thankful to be alive. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to take on the world at this point. And I wanted to show others how to go after stuff when maybe they shouldn't still be here. So that my first goal was to come back to fighting within a year. So I scheduled a fight like 2 weeks. It had been a 2-week anniversary from brain surgery. I fought in Dana White Contender Series in 10 days outside of a weight class that I knew that I wanted. So I fought at 145, 135er. Yeah, I'm already making excuses. But
Who'd you fight? I can't remember. I watched the whole season.
This was the Contender Series. This is before I went to Tough. This was Luis Saldana.
But that was it. You just got right back on the horse, and you weren't sad or depressed or anything.
And how
Because
far
man,
after?
I tweaked my knee when I was younger, and I thought I was done for, and I was sad. And man,
I was tired of being sad, man. I was thankful to be alive. Like
Hell yeah.
When the more I learned about the disease and how lucky I was to still be alive, it was really hard to feel sad for myself, because there are people that suffer from this disease that do not have the ability or the opportunities to keep going. Sometimes it happens in kids where their arteries aren't developed as much as mine. They're too frail, they're too small, so they can't even do the surgery. So they just have to live with it until they can. Sometimes it's to a part of the brain that they can't get to. So they got to do these surgeries where they do like burr holes, where it's just straight holes in the skull, and the blood's got to go through the skull from the top. It's terrible. So I felt really lucky, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna do this until someone says I can't. And then they tried to for the longest time. They're like, you fight again, you're out of your fucking mind. There's no way you'll ever fight again. And I was like, well, you got to prove that I can't. And that's exactly what I said I'd do. I went and got all these scans. I went and got all these tests. And I went to Stanford, and I got the guy that like wrote the book on the disease and the surgery. And he's like, oh, you're good, dude. Like nothing can harm you. Like nothing contact related, nothing blood flow related. Like it doesn't correlate from
the
only
the
problem.
disease.
Yeah, he's like, nothing will hinder you from competing. The only problem that could arise in the future is when the disease begins to spread even further, and it's just out of our control. But until then, like you're Gucci. And so, yeah, man, that's
and there you went.
Yeah, and again, that's how I found cycling. Cycling, I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole with that one too. But, when I had surgery, they're like, well, you can't get punched or do anything for fucking, like 6 months. And I was like, I'll show you. But anyway, it's funny because I borrowed Uriah's bike. Uriah had like a old fucking Cannondale in his garage or something. And I was like, can I ride that thing around or something? I need something to do. And he said, sure. And so I borrowed that bike. And when I got out of surgery, they had me... and I don't recommend this. I don't say this to sound cool or anything like that, but they give you all these medications. A lot of them were blood pressure related because I had a new, basically I had a vein or a blood vessel from the outside of my head going to the inside of my head through a little hole above my ear. And it was small, and it's never had to push, let's say it's like that thick now, which it wasn't, but when it started, it was like about as thick as a piece of hair, I guess, right? So you could see that it needed to grow. And so they want to put you on this blood pressure medication that helps facilitate blood to the new, through the new blood vessel. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever been on any of those like stuff, you feel fucking terrible. Like you just don't feel good. And I'm sitting here like thinking of all the ways that I can facilitate new blood to my brain. And I knew exercising was one of them, but there was like something that they didn't want. They want me running because there's a pounding and stuff like that.
Yeah. No run?
No, and I hate.
What about swim?
I don't really know how to swim that good either. My shoulders are all fucked up. But anyway, I found cycling, and it was something that I could do for like hours. I found myself just like, my first ride was like 30 miles, second ride 60 miles, third ride 70 miles, and they were all back to back. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was basically
like a kid on a bike,
dude. I was like a kid on the bike, and I remember it was my buddy. We didn't have helmets on or nothing. It was fucking crazy, and we just didn't want to tell each other like who was tired first. So we just basically kept riding. He's like, "You tired?" I'm like, "No." So we would just keep going, and dude, I remember our goal was to hit a fucking 100 miles. We're like, who's gonna do our first century soon? We're getting ready for it. There's a century rate like thing coming up in like 6 months, like less than 6 weeks. We rode 100 miles. Well, we don't need to do that anymore.
At that point, when you guys were riding around there without a helmet,
oh god, it was so bad. It was so bad. I look
which by the way, when you encounter someone on the trail with no helmet, you kind of have to stay away because they're kind of nuts.
Look, and you're like, come on, man.
You're gonna smack your head.
Helmet, you know? And I just had brain surgery.
Yeah. Of all things, too, not wearing a helmet.
But at that point, and you were doing these, that many miles, you're out there for several hours.
Oh, yeah.
And you're doing it up here, Sacramento. Yeah. Were you taking like proper nutrition out there?
Not really.
Taking sugar?
Yeah, I wasn't big into the nutrition yet. I didn't know as much as I did now when it came to the requirements. So a lot of the stuff was fasted. Obviously, I drink water and stuff too, but I wasn't familiar with how much sweat we were losing. And like the sodium and the
that could be super dangerous out there, right?
Dangerous.
Sacramento, you'll fucking have a heat stroke.
It happens to runners and people out there all the time. Next thing you know, they're getting saved by somebody out there. But
cooked.
You just get cooked. cooked out there. And if you remember, like a couple of years ago, I mean, it was fucking hot out there.
Yeah, the last like 2 years has kind of been mellow.
In comparison.
Yeah,
but I remember being out there, like, dude, sometimes you just gotta find a tree to sit under for a little bit and get your wits
I mean,
about,
it's baking like the fucking asphalt's just like heat waves.
I love it. And you know what? When it's real hot out there, you got to hide under a tree, and there's not many people out there. On the bike, you experience the nature every time.
I was going to say, it allows you to live a little more presently, right?
Yes.
So it takes the phone out of your face, and like it's giving you're living presently among like being outside. How often you get to spend that much time outside with animals and trees and living things, and you're not staring at a phone. The road's telling you to turn right. Like, you physically have to do that.
And I rediscovered it. I found it because we grew up on bikes.
Yeah.
Like, we're the Goonies. Like, all you needed when we were kids was a bike, and that's how we got around. It was BMX Bandits. Even like Quicksilver. I'm that old.
Bro,
like, have you seen Kevin Bacon?
Kevin
Bacon.
Put some pegs on the fucking, in the back.
on the mongoose?
Dude, mongoose.
Hell yeah.
Quicksilver.
Grab
Kevin
the shovel,
Bacon.
take it to the bike jumps, build some jumps.
We got to pull that up. Have you seen Quicksilver?
I don't think so.
It's like a bike messenger movie in New York from like 1980, and it has Kevin Bacon, and they're doing like fucking tricks. And when we seen it when we were about 8, we were like, this is sick. I don't know what's up with those road bikes. Also, Breaking Away. Have you seen Breaking Away?
I've seen Hell of the West.
That's with Dennis Quaid. And Breaking Away, at the end of it, the town, which is in like Ohio or something, the town has a team velodrome race. And it's like the greasers against the popular kids.
Oh, okay.
it's like grease, but with like without the cars.
The cycling club for the greasers is the cutters.
Oh, interesting.
Because they cut school.
And
that's what the rich kids would call them. Look at those cutters. So they.
What is it?
What, the movie?
Breakaway?
Breaking Away. Right here.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, here you go.
Dude, this kid rode around his town and he spoke in a fake Italian accent.
Dude, that's hilarious.
And that's his dad, the car salesman, and he fucking hates him. He's like, buongiorno, papi. But this kid was serious. And then the tour came through his house, and the kid's like out there riding. I mean, when we were kids, this was the juice.
Where is this filmed at?
It's like middle America somewhere. Look at Dad. Yes, get that training
That's hilarious.
You got to see it.
Wow.
That must see.
That does look epic.
Papi, I win for you.
Yeah.
He's all
This is a
disappointed. He's
shitty
like,
Trover.
you fucking riding that bike around.
He's like, we're going to kick this kid out of the house if he keeps this on. The fishing hole, the watering hole.
Dude,
Oh, that looks sick right
Breaking
there. I
Away.
want to fuck
This is
someone
classic.
I'm going to go check this out.
Boys,
for
I'm
sure.
disappointed. That you
Hey,
guys don't know.
dude.
It's a
But
little
look at
before. Oh, the Duster.
Bad News Bears.
That's a Duster right there.
Yeah. It's
Dodge
like,
Duster. Hell yeah.
82.
Well, I definitely got something to look forward to now. Look at that.
With the
The
reverse.
bike rack on the top.
This America doesn't exist anymore, which is unfortunate because these look like some rad times.
Yeah.
This fucking guy and his mustache.
Yeah, right.
Look at that. Look at that fit. I think that's back in style now.
It is.
So, Vince, do you really enjoy it?
Oh, yeah.
The suffering, it's an interesting thing. And I mean,
That's
we're all
what- you know
fighters,
what?
we're all martial artists, but the bike, like,
So-
you ride a lot of miles. Out of a lot of the guys that I see on Strava, you're putting in the most miles. You can't want to get out there every day. You can't enjoy it every single time.
Yeah, and
but
you're right.
the suffering and the pain,
You're right. So
they kind of go hand in hand, right?
That's true. You got to find a way to like it, but it's definitely. I don't forgot what I was gonna say. I got a brain disease.
But it's true. It's like
You love the pain.
Well, people that are outside looking in at cyclists, we're not out there just messing around. We're out there training, and you're out there all year round in the weather. The weather hurts. It's cold. It's hot. Right now, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
but then the training sessions, I try to tell you guys, and I try to get you to do it on these bikes. Like, give me a 5-minute effort. These guys crack at 2 minutes, and then these workouts are hours long.
I remember that's what I was gonna say before I forget. It's I think it's because of how not terrible I was at it, but how hard it was. and knowing that there were so many people better at it than me, that made me, I was like, nah, there's no way. Like that guy, he's not fitter than me. And then so I would just train until I was.
Where you'd see a guy who was clearly overweight, like when you like size him up, and
So,
and this guy's just blowing.
Dude,
you
and there's some old heads out there that you'd be like,
it's like
what
golf.
It's
like
kinda,
fucking golf, dude.
like
You'll
golf.
like you can't judge a book by its or running.
100%.
Running's the same way. You'll get some pretty heavy set people that
they just have a motor on them, dude.
Yeah.
So I noticed that, and that's I was like addicted to like self-improvement. Like just even if moving the benchmark just a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further, and I just became obsessed with like trying to explore what my capabilities were in this, and it was very therapeutic. I could get away from fighting, and again, I didn't know if I was going to come back to fighting. Like for like a good 6 months, I was like suffering from like the identity crisis of like I've been Vince Murdock, the fighter, isn't my entire life. So I was like, who am I without this sport? And I wasn't married yet, and I didn't have a fucking kid. And I was just like, no, this is who I am. I fight. That's me. You know what I mean? So like cycling to me was just like when I was on the bike, I just didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say I was running or riding from it, but I was a little bit, I was getting away from all that. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Probably made you feel like, some relief that you had something else that you could put that much time and effort in and, get
there's still
out of it.
reward, too.
Right.
It's a reward system,
Yeah,
too,
no, and
man.
because fighting does, it becomes like this, your persona, you're like, well, this is like, if I stop fighting, then it's
like, who am I?
It's a weird thing.
It's addicting on multiple levels.
Maybe that's
and
what
there's
it is.
been
It's just
many studies on it. And anytime you do something that you don't want to do, a challenging task, it stimulates a part of your brain.
Yeah.
And it becomes addicting.
I can see that.
And then cyclists, think on one ride, how many times you don't want to do something.
Yeah.
Because you're like, here it comes. You're like, here it comes. I'm going to go in. We're going to do a 30-minute effort right now. And you don't want to do it. You're like, this is going to fucking hurt.
Yeah, there's something I remember.
But then you
funny.
do it. Afterwards, you get it afterwards.
Yeah, there's something like you said, like I always say it's being broken off. Like the fact that like it would literally break me off to where it was a new kind of pain to me because I wasn't getting beat by somebody, I was getting beat by myself.
Yeah.
So like I was losing to myself, and that just infuriated me. I was like, no fucking like. So I just.
It's like Pilates.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Like,
we all have a lot of tattoos, obviously, and that's kind of another thing, right?
Adrenaline,
the pain
junkies.
tolerance, and kind of there's dopamine from the pain. And the bike, every time you get out there, it's like it hurts, but you end up loving it.
And you also learn more about yourself too. I feel like that's kind of self-exploratory of like learning your efforts and your cardio and how hard you can push and how hard you can push when you get tired and like mentally tired. And it's just a different way of gauging yourself. Like in the gym, sometimes you're just kind of like going off what the coach says or how you do in sparring or how did your rolls go, you know what I mean? Whereas this, you can self-calculate, you know what I mean? So
many amazing experiences on the bike. I don't know, dehydration or oxygen high, but sometimes I'm like disconnected from my legs and I feel like I'm flying through the forest.
Yeah.
Not all the time,
like
but you reach these
your hips are
weird
gone.
states. Like some days you just got it, and you can flick that, and you feel like you're flying, and it's completely silent. It's hard to explain.
It is, and I know. And then the crazy part too is like you're always like when you're fucking moving on that thing and you're just going really fast, you're just like, man, I wonder like what I look like, but you know what I mean? But you probably just look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
like,
you look like
but
every other guy in spandex riding down the road.
Exactly. But in your head,
No
dude,
way.
you feel like a fucking jet airplane just. You know what I mean?
No way, you're looking great. You're killing it.
No, you can
the
see
position
Vince-
on the bike.
You can see Vince like a half a mile down the road. You're like,
I probably look like a fucking hamster on a wheel.
You're so bright. You always have so much like because when I was running down Taylor Road, I saw you and a couple of guys riding up, and I knew it was you because your kit. I think you
Leopard
had
kit.
your leopard. I think you had your leopard on at that point, and like you had a white like bib on, and I was just like Vince. Like, fucking,
And then
I'm always trying to change the be a little more expressive on the bike too.
But that's just having fun with it, right?
cool.
That's
Exactly.
the style.
Totally. Yeah.
Even the bike, you see
Yeah.
someone's bike and you're like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice setup. You know, such a fun hobby. Now, you try to get your guys all to ride the bike because I don't. I was, you know what, I used to talk about it a lot, and then people are just like, they don't
It's
want
not for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
But then I have guys.
My goal is to make it look so cool that they reach out to do it.
Well-
But you can't push them. Like my coolest. I got Cody Garbrandt on a bike for like a year. And
Yeah, I
he
seen
fucking
that.
loved it. You know what I mean? But I think he thought it was hindering his performance a little too much, and that's okay. But that was just the difference between me and him on it. But like he had a great time. We rode, almost daily for a long time, and he was dealing with some injuries at the time too. So it was good for him to be, maybe it was an escape for him at the time. He was dealing with some stuff too. And we rode all over the place, man. We went to a lot of places, San Diego, smoked weed with Mike Tyson. I'm not kidding. We rode to
That's fucking
Tyson's
cool.
Ranch.
That's
On
dope.
a bike.
Yeah, on a bike.
That's sick.
So we
Yeah.
were like, we had this like
Did you
road
find your
ride.
way back?
Dude, we go to San Diego and he goes, I was like, dude, I got this route planned out. And he goes, or we can ride down Tyson's Ranch and smoke weed with Mike Tyson. I go, that sounds pretty fucking cool, man. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And we go down there and, bro, I don't even remember how we rode back. I'm not even kidding. It was like we like floated back. It was
Every Joe
we got
Ro-
back to the hotel and we were just like, do you remember even pedaling?
What a ride.
Every time people smoke that on the on Joe Rogan's podcast,
bro.
it's just like they
got me going.
on another level. You're like, you guys are so stoned. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've been trying to. I've always shared with my
Yeah.
boxers like what I do. I'm not boxing or anything anymore. I'm just coaching the guys, but I'm still a studying martial artist. So my approach to the bike and the running has always, this is my new thing. This is my new
Yeah.
martial art that I'm doing. But so guys are interested, and but then they look at what the investment is going to be to get into it, but also the danger. What do you think about the risk factor? You've wrecked on the bike, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I've went down a few times. I think it's just about. It doesn't have to be. I mean,
It's even like my daughter. I bought her a bike when she was like 6. You get your kid a bike, you start riding the bike with them, and now she's an adult, which she just had a baby Aislinn. I'm grandpa status now,
congrats.
boys. But she wants to get a bike. She wants to get back in shape, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but you got to be careful. Like people
My
don't
biggest
realize.
thing is like either find the bike trail for one, if that's what you're talking about, a good group of people, but like it doesn't. It's being like responsible. You know what I mean? You gotta like ride responsibly, right? It's not.
But Vince, you've seen how these people drive a car.
Sure.
And they can't drive a car. A bicycle
That's true.
is way more flicky.
Yeah,
And they're going to flick themselves, and they don't wear a helmet.
ride with a group.
They got flip-flops.
Yeah, definitely.
Find the bike trail.
Definitely-
That's a
I'm
good
like,
one.
no, stay off the
Find-
bike.
Yes, and the bike trail. Like, but I mean,
Folsom's got really good place.
if you're out here,
good places to ride.
We have we're blessed with the ability to have the bike trail. I just gotta say that.
Yeah, even around here, there's good.
But
bike
I mean,
trails.
if you want to talk about like risk and reward, like I can't say that it's any more like. I mean, I risk it pretty. When you fight, man, you're risking it every day. You know, obviously we build the tools to protect ourselves from the other things. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing with cycling. You build up your awareness and your bike handling skills to be able to handle the bike and like watch out for the cracks and stuff like that.
But you obviously know you're a very strong rider. And riding bikes is a skill. People forget they haven't ridden a bike since they're kids. They jump on it as an adult, and they're on the sidewalk. They're on the sidewalk going the wrong direction. They're going to pull out in front of a car. Like they're moments away. And it's different times now. Riding bikes, these days, especially right here, like off 65, there's like.
Well, these people just aren't
accidents.
watching what they're doing. There's phones now. you know?
So I'm like, honey, sweetie, I mean, you can get a bike and I'm going to train you actually. I'm going to meet you and ride with you.
riding the roads is scary.
I don't think. I mean, road cycling can be scary. And one of my really good friends, his name's Derek Teal. He just got hit by a car about 5 weeks ago.
Dialed health.
And I mean, nothing was his fault. But again, like riding alone, and especially on. I mean, I don't want to, it can happen. There's obviously some risk to it, but there's ways to, protect yourself too. And the thing is, in my opinion, it's just, I just think people should be able, at the end of the day, I'm always going to do whatever I want to do and live my life on my own terms. I'm not going to what if. I could be scared to ride on the road my entire life and then go and fucking die of a heart attack because I didn't ride my bike and I got fat.
Or just get in the car and
or just get in a car in a car accident. I should just went with that. But yeah.
Die of depression.
Just die of depression.
sadness.
There's just so many other things. And, we just got to keep pressing for better, bike safety laws and stuff like that. But, be smart about it, right? If you have the ability to utilize the bike trail, just use a bike trail. If you're not a fucking tour level rider, you don't need to be doing, crazy shit.
Advocate. Like if you're like when I was building trails in El Dorado Hills and throughout El Dorado County, I was with a pretty good group of dudes who they work with the trail.
Yeah, there's people that build the trails and maintain it.
Yeah, it's like called Trek or something like that. It's Miraz Brewing Company does a beer with them. It's like fat. I don't know. Anyways,
I think I know what you're talking about because I remember them volunteering.
Fat Track. Yeah. So
I one of the things I love is that it's dangerous. I like boxing, you're on the razor's edge. Every time you jump on the bike, you got to be on it. Now, I used to ride motorcycles. I was into street bikes when I was younger and fast cars. But
now, let me ask you that. You said your daughter wants to get a bike. Well, like, what if she said you want to get a fucking motorcycle?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, if she's going to do it, she's going to do it.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you want to talk about, like, things, it's like...
Well, I made the compromise. I'm kind of feeding the two-wheel thing on the bicycle.
It just depends.
What's that?
You used to ride a motorcycle?
Me?
Did you?
Yeah, street bikes.
Yeah,
and the speed bike. And then I like to go fast on the road bike. We're trying to go faster.
Yeah.
We're doing the training. We're doing the nutrition. Do you shave your legs?
Yeah.
We're shaving our arms. We're shaving our arms and legs.
To be fair, I shaved my arms and legs since I started wrestling in like middle school. But
so
it just kind of helps.
Educate me. Is it really that big of a difference in your
They
hair?
say so. At the highest level in certain speeds, apparently it does,
Now
I don't
on
know
me,
if I notice it, but some people do.
I have very billowy Scottish leg hair.
Yeah.
So I think it's, above 22 miles an hour.
Exactly. No. I'm not kidding. It sounds crazy, but
it's billowing in the air.
It does make a difference.
It's you guys get down to all the smallest details with the wattage.
Some say you wouldn't have to, but it's just if you're out there and you're doing the damn thing, you're gonna give yourself every little advantage, especially if it's as easy as just taking the fucking leg hair off. That costs you what?
Yeah, nothing.
Carbon wheels are fucking $3,000.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you know what I mean?
The shaving your legs.
Yeah, that's just one little thing. One thing I found is in the summer, you're rubbing lotion on every day. You're rubbing on sunblock, and when you got hair, it's harder.
Yeah.
When you don't, you just and you're done.
Yeah. Maintenance wise, it's a lot easier. Probably easier to get your kits on and stuff too.
Yeah. Now I do this thing where I kind of I don't completely shave my leg. I kind of give it a fade.
Just fucking give it a skin fade.
on the part that's exposed to the knee and calf area.
Yeah.
Because you wear socks and a bib, so.
Dude, my buddy says he only shaves up to his thigh, and I go, so what? You just got like a hair boxer line, like you just got a fur boxer? You just stop at your fucking knee.
A fur short.
It's like you wear some
fur shorts.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I guess I do. And I was like, I think that's weird. You want to talk about me? I was like, dude, if I start on my leg, you best believe I bring it all the way up and I shave everything else.
Especially if you're super hairy too, and you can see a visible
I'm just gonna
line.
Stop at my fucking thigh because my bib stopped there.
Now what about the kit, the cycling kit? See, the cycling kit, a lot of guys have a problem with.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not putting on the shorts. In the cycling kit, you look like whatever. But then they'll watch a whole NFL game with their tight little pants, bent over, and then what about the MMA? Like MMA, they're not even wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
They got tight little spandex. What about that?
Yeah. I think it's how it's presented. It's how it's presented. You see someone like me or you, that fucking has all the sweet gear. They're like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Like it does. But then you see someone, So I don't even know what this.
It's a funny part.
Fred.
You look
You know
at
what I mean? You
like
see
the
someone else.
surgeon, and
And
then
they're like, that
Vince
doesn't
Murdock.
look cool at all. I don't
Yeah.
care how fucking good at it I'd be. I don't want to look like that. So then they wouldn't even entertain it because they're like, I just don't want to look like that fucking guy. I'm like,
You just got to have some style. You got to
Yeah.
put some pizzazz
Trust
on
me,
it.
I'm working my ass off to
Go
make
look
it
at
look
Vince's
cool.
Instagram if you need any inspiration. Go check out his kits.
But
There you
I think
go.
that's a cool.
We got some for sale, by the way.
Hey.
Check out the site.
I think that's a cool part of the hobby is you can kind of express yourself whether
Yeah,
you wear
yeah.
jeans.
Yeah.
There's some guys out there with flip flops and jeans,
yeah.
you know, and then you got
Yeah,
Everyone-
I
everyone
wear
with their own
fucking
style.
leopard print, bro, and I do all sorts of fucking stupid stuff out there.
What store
I'll
do
show
you,
up to the group rides in a baggy t-shirt just to piss them all off.
no way, but it,
And then go win.
It always looks sick at over 300 watts, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
right?
matter. Exactly.
What store-
I'll show up with a bar bag on there.
Yeah.
what store do you have that you?
It's called Enjoy Cycling Club. We
Okay.
we got some cool stuff on there. So,
You got some kits and
yeah,
stuff
we got
for
a
sale on there.
leopard bib on there. None of you guys, you're probably all here for fighting anyway, but if you're not, we got some leopard bibs for you.
No way, we're trying to bring the cycling community in. We're trying to bring the fitness community in,
Yeah.
and all just
So
like
that's
us.
the other part too. Is like when I'm on the cycling and I'm mingling with those other types of people. I'm always telling them, I'm like, dude, you guys should get into martial arts because I think that has a lot to offer too. I think
Everybody should get
jiu-jitsu,
into martial arts.
boxing. Those are all like self exploratory and like investments in yourself and things that you'll be able to take with you for the rest of your life.
There's
they're
so many
amazing.
similarities
A ton.
in training in the gym and
Yeah.
training out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's really not a whole. I mean, people think that you're going to come into a gym like a fighting gym. You're going to get punched in the nose.
Dude,
and it's
I've
like,
been battling. So that every time I go, I'm like, oh, you should come to the gym. Like, oh, but you train at like that gym. I'm like, dude, no, we are open to the public.
Yeah.
Anyone can come here. Like, you shouldn't feel that way. Like, oh, like I'm not I don't want to punch somebody in the face. I just want to kind of hit the back. Like, sweet, that we got those.
That's where you start. That's where
You
you
know what I
start.
mean?
You know,
Come
and,
try.
and then
try.
you just you get into class, and then you do the 5:30 class where
Yeah.
they're just kind of throwing a jab, just working the jab. And you look so bad. You're so uncoordinated. You don't know what you're gonna do, and so
There it is,
There,
dude.
yeah, the leopard speed bibs.
Yeah,
Bro,
I
you
just-
kind of look like Cody.
So I,
Especially
oh my
with
God,
the shades right there.
I kind of
and
thought
the
that was
goatee.
Chad for a second.
All right,
Y'all look
anyway.
the same. You guys are all drinking the same water.
scroll down to the description. They don't know the description. I don't know what the
So-
fuck. Maybe I fucked up.
So Vince, I always like horse racing, and I mean, I've always liked cycling and kind of kept up with the tour and whatnot. But I always liked the horse jockeys,
Yeah.
and I like to me, like the white helmet or the different helmets and the kit on the steed. We kind of look like racehorse jockeys.
Sure.
And they don't look.
Yeah.
They look sick as
Yeah.
Their leg
Tying
position. They got
back.
the goggles. They're ready to win the Kentucky.
Click on it
Oh,
there
shit,
now.
those are
click
sick.
On, click
I'm
on
gonna get one of those
the.
shirts.
Go
Those
to
are
the bibs
dope.
now. Yeah, look at that side profile, Dougie.
And so you design this stuff.
Yeah.
You're the head designer.
So I am pretty proud of that too, because it's something I put the Wi-Fi. sucks here.
165. That's a good price point as well.
I
Yeah,
think
that's not bad,
So
right?
I'm trying to make them as affordable as I can right now. Dang, I had a really cool description. I thought I just pretty much said that these are gonna make everyone faster if you buy them.
You better be fast. If you got cheetah pants,
No, dude, that's the best part though. If you're not fast, at the very least, you
look
fast,
fast.
and
Yeah.
that's half the fucking battle.
You
dude.
are so
look
right.
fast. Those
Like,
probably.
It's like Muay Thai. You roll the shorts
right?
up.
Like
you get
if
the
you're
shorts.
not gonna be an
you're like,
ass kicker, at least you
damn.
want to look like you know how to kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
Right?
But with the new kit, it's like
Yeah.
8 more watts.
100%, and then it's like double that because you feel cool.
No shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Next time you go to join a Muay Thai gym for
Placebo.
your first time,
Yeah.
get the coolest looking shorts, roll
Yeah.
them up, and just show up like you know what you're doing.
The bottle's sick.
Yeah. So I think
Cranked.
it's similar when you said you were trying to get them into it. It's like, remember, like it's been so long, but I remember when I first when I was wrestling, it's like you're drilling. It doesn't come naturally yet, right? And you're like doing all these kind of reps that aren't yours yet, but you're hoping the jab becomes yours eventually. And like when it clicks, like that's the beauty of it, right? And it's like it's like just like what you think that like the cyclists for them, it's like you can find that in other things, and it doesn't have to be MMA or anything. These are just outlets that I am familiar with, and I try to push because they're I know they're great, right? And I know a lot of people could enjoy them. And it's the same thing with the MMA community or combat sports. It's like you could find a lot of success in an endurance community just because obviously you like beating yourself up, right? And like you like the mental game, and it takes a very mentally tough person to be, good in this sport. Like there's nothing more fucking mentally toughening than going doing like an ultra run, for 50 fucking miles. Like you want to figure out what you're made of, like run until you fucking, when your body says quit, and guess what? You got to keep going because you ain't at the finish line yet. So I think part of that's what's like intriguing to me is like your body wants to tell you to quit, or but your mind's got to say no. Like you have to just keep bringing that out of you, and it's bringing more out of you. And the other cool thing is like maybe that's where you're learning more about yourself. You're like, oh, I didn't know. I mean, obviously you didn't know, but like you didn't know you had that in you, and like it's gonna ask for more, and it's like it's gonna be up to you if you can deliver that or
That's
not.
where you find
and
yourself.
I think it's cool, yeah. And same thing with fighting too. You go in here, like you can easily. It's like the
just
difference
pushing
between,
through a session, even like
through
pushing through a sparring session.
There's so
there's
many
levels.
fights where I've been cracked, and I was like, fuck, this is not going good, and I've rallied back. I went into a new round. New me. Like fucking came back, and like I saw him fade. Like there goes my confidence. It's like it's the same fucking thing, You can. It's just not about giving up. And both of these, they're different in terms of like the application, but the mindset's the same. And I think that's beautiful, man. I love human optimization and self-exploratory things.
Yeah,
and new challenges.
Yeah,
and guys are looking. That's why I'm not gonna try to get them into what I do. I just let them see, and they're watching me through the year.
Yeah,
I'm almost 50.
Dude, leading by example is the best thing to do.
Yes, and even if they don't pick what I do, they're thinking about doing something.
Yeah.
And
yep.
And I've been in martial arts my whole life, so the bike was something. What am I going to do to challenge myself now at this point in my life? I was looking just like other guys. Other guys are looking for some. I was living in Pacifica, and I was going to start surfing.
Yeah.
It was either the surf or the bike, and. Surfing in Pacific is gnarly, right below San Francisco. So it's like always super cold, choppy ass little waves, big ass great white sharks. And then the only surfers are like living in their van, and you're going to have to fight them
for a wave.
It's like gnarly.
That's my wave, dude.
Dude, they live there.
And half of them do jiu-jitsu, so they're fucking good.
Just California street bums.
I felt like... I needed an in, like I needed a homie that could show me the culture a little bit. And then the bike just came more natural.
Too.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet because there's not a lot of, there's like nowhere to surf, especially in Northern California.
But the bike was challenge. It was a new challenge for me. And the friction causes the growth. And when you're used to it, through your whole life, if it's missing, you start thinking of a project.
Well, that's
you
the
start
other thing
planning
too,
a project.
like whether it's building a car, but when you see growth, like you said, isn't that something we're always kind of like looking for, is to see something like you're getting better at something, and like you look at the, I don't want to say, the average human, how many things are we doing outside that, or in general, that we're seeing something grow, like we're getting better at something, right? So
it's kind of sad because
sad.
the normal person isn't. They're living vicariously. They're watching us on the story, and they're stuck at
so
work.
So much more now than before.
The regular lifestyle is not to do anything, and then every year kind of getting worse in a comfortable environment. And where the friction is the growth, the doing something that's uncomfortable, even in coming into the gym. I challenge guys all the time because they're scared because it's uncomfortable. Their jab sucks, and I'm like, cross the line then. I challenge you.
I used to always say what was like the toughest parts, like coming to the door or something like that, but it is sometimes, and but it's also, those are the most rewarding times.
You walk them through the door, and then they're like, they're a little taller. They threw the jab. They did it.
Especially once they stick around and start like learning the culture of the gym, and
dude, that's probably the best part about being a coach. Is like when you like what you're just saying is like when you watch their community grow, and you're next thing you know they're going to get drinks after with someone they just met, and then
Yeah.
now their
Yeah.
life's changing. This guy got this other guy a job because he was like that. Like getting them into a new community and watching them thrive is like so sad. Like it's one of the coolest things.
Dude,
I
you
think
said
as a
it.
human.
That's on another level.
Some of my
Yeah.
best friends today
Yes.
my best friends today are from this gym, and it's we just were at Carlos's house watching the fights yesterday, and we have like 5-6 of us that get together, and then just the day before that there was like, I don't know, 10 of the guys. They went to Top Golf, and so yeah, it's really cool. It's a good family community to get into a gym that, I mean, not all gyms are the same.
It's gang life.
No,
It's-
but
yeah,
I
it's
think
surfer game life.
It's that
it's important that I think like I think everyone should belong to some sort of gym, and I'm not talking like at any time. I'm talking about like a community-based gym that has some sort of class structure, whether it be, I mean, even CrossFit, anything, because I think they have a lot to offer.
even those yoga Pilates
Fucking
classes.
chess,
those
dude.
are-
Go join a chess club.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, serious, and that's maybe one thing like why people are on the cyclist side are a little more clicky, or it's a very solo sport. You can ride bikes by yourself your entire life.
Yes, and
never
a lot of them
join a
do,
group.
and a lot of them are.
They
up
get out of
their
the
own
same
ass.
parking lot as you, right in the
It
same
gets-
trail. They don't ever say hi. They don't, they
It can
just-
get weird out
you know.
there.
It definitely
Yeah.
can. I
mean,
won't, and that's been not my biggest, but that is something that I'm hoping to kind of change, not the narrative, but the perception that it's more inviting, because it can be and it will be, and I think with the right outlook, and like you bring it to them and packaged a little different, it'll look more appealing to do.
Yeah, and it helps in the areas that you live too. And I was saying a little bit earlier, like the advocacy for if you like that sport, if cycling is something that you like to do, mountain biking was a thing that we were pushing for. There's no trails that are allowed to be there.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to just go to any bit of land, even BLM land, and go like carve out trails, and because then it's there's a danger, there's a safety thing. So like advocate, go to your city hall, go to your meetings, and like say, hey, we need more bike lanes, we need
Bike
trails.
parks, we
Like
need
that's
more
how
trails,
Folsom
more,
that's how Folsom got to where it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a bike friendly area because people advocated for such a all the bike lanes, all the interconnecting trails for the kids and stuff like that to go to school to and from their houses safely. But we're kind of lucky that in this area we have a lot of that.
Man.
But it's still dangerous to ride
People
your-
hate cyclists.
Yeah, they do.
They
My
do,
mom's
and
one of them too.
It's great. And you know what? I see cyclists.
Watch out for the Mercedes on Taylor Road.
I'm driving and I see cyclists,
All of
and
them.
I'm kind of annoyed. I'm like, you're in the wrong part. What are you doing,
Dude, why
Like,
do they ride? Like, I mean, why do you have to choose? And I've ridden bikes. So why do you choose to ride on the fucking most narrow back road trail?
Yeah.
And you're like
There's no
60
shoulder.
years old. There's no shoulder. You're just leisurely riding, and it's like, come on.
I pray for that guy when I see him.
Yeah.
Back in Loomis on those old country
Yeah,
roads,
it's
and
those
people
ones,
are
dude.
smashing with a horse trailer.
No shit. And there's no
Yeah.
room to get the horse trailer around
Dude,
the fucking
even
cyclist.
the wind coming off that thing will send you into the berm.
And there's no shoulder. It's literally just
I'll
like
just say I've been that
cracked
guy
asphalt.
a
No, I
million
know. I
times.
just,
Sometimes you just go down the wrong route. You end up.
sometimes it's the beautiful road.
well, like you said,
But as long as you're fast enough,
Well-
that's the rule. If you can keep up with traffic, that's okay. Like you don't have to do 55, but if you're doing
No.
like 30, and but if you're doing
I think it's just more so like we were talking about, like if you're in Loomis or on one of these old country roads, it's like, well, I mean, there's plenty of room to get around you.
Yes.
That'd be my thing.
Yeah.
And if there's not, like if they're not riding on the shoulder or in like inside the line, then and they're on a more busy street, then yeah, the cyclist is an idiot on that part. But for the most part, we try to choose roads that are less traveled, even they're not massive roads. So it's
Yeah.
like there should be plenty of room to make a pass that's safe and just if you're paying attention.
and there
You
it
know what I
totally
mean?
is.
There's always that guy,
It's
though.
always just
They're
the
always-
That's
those
trying to
like-
do
Fuck
the-
you, you
he's-
fucking
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Or just their route is like
Dude,
right
the
down the main
craziest
boulevard.
part is like, dude, you're more than welcome to pull over and like if you want to have a word, because like I've always thought about that too. It's like, man, I mean, on any other day and it was someone else cycling, you could probably get away with it. But if we meet at this light, dude, I'm gonna fucking have some words for you.
Vince, I
ready to
used to
get-
do that. I used to have this thing messing
And
around.
I try not to be so, I try to let my my ego go. And
You
check
got to
it
look
out,
down
right?
at your leopard
But
print
Vince-
spin. You got to go, I'm just having fun.
I do look like an asshole. Like, who
just-
am I to think? You know, half the time I'm just like, man, I'd fucking yell at myself too.
I know this old Peckerwood in his 88 Ford, and he's just like, the fucking kid, get out of the way.
Fucking rodeo's in town, dude. The big PBR's here. Get the fuck out of here, asshole.
When I used to ride on the public roads more, I would always carry a camera.
Yeah.
And then guys would run me off the road, and I would pull up next to them with the GoPro and put my head inside their cab and be like, hey. And then some of them did try to get out.
Yeah.
And then they realized that I was a werewolf.
Yeah.
They thought I was a little man in tights.
yeah.
And then they jump, and I'm like, what are we going to do? This guy's like, you want to go? I was like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Didn't you get that one on film? You posted that one.
Man, I should have had it queued up because I have that whole thing on my GoPro. But I told him, sir, go to work. Get back in your car. Go home to your wife.
Just be happy that you can go.
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah. He was hilarious.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, like whether you're in the car or not, is like, man, there's just, I think a lot of that aggression just is unwarranted. It does not need to be in there. Like, I think people when they drive, they're more anxious and their emotions are heightened because they're controlling like a vehicle or something. But it's like if you're at the grocery store and someone pulled out in front of you with their shopping cart, you wouldn't be like, hey, fuck face, like what the fuck, like I was going down the pizza aisle, like you just wouldn't
You cut me off on aisle 9.
That's what I'm saying, like you wouldn't use those choice of words. It's like not the risks are obviously higher out there, but it's like the way people talk to each other is just like, it's just
For me, it was a malicious move intentionally with their vehicle.
Yeah.
And they try to leave me, and all of a sudden I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
And I can touch you, you know, and they think you can't, you know, they're going to get
Catch back
away
up or something,
and we're faster than you think. But I don't know. Are you guys?
I'm not entirely sure if I've done cycling justice tonight. If I haven't, you know, I'll just have to fucking take that one on the chin and come back and help redo another one or something.
Check out Enjoy Cycling. Go grab yourself a water bottle.
Hey man, at the end of the day, whatever happens, just enjoy the ride.
Hell yeah.
look out for cyclists.
Yeah.
But what are regular people doing for dopamine? I mean,
that's the thing. I don't know.
We're working out.
TikTok, social
Exactly.
media.
Social media, which
Movie
is,
theaters.
You know, you would think there'd be more content on getting more people outside instead of watching people outside.
yeah, the screen, and then
I'm a victim of it too, which is why I try to spend more time doing cool shit.
the eating and the drinking.
Yeah, I quit drinking, but yeah.
But yeah, getting even like
Good food. Good food's expensive and
hamburgers
addictive.
and
Yeah, I think food addiction's like, I mean, I've suffered, I have a massive problem, but I've definitely always had a harder time, especially managing my weight.
You big food eater? You like
massive,
food?
dude. Just absolutely like.
Are you a foodie? Do you
Making
like
135, like, bro, if I was just like fucking 2 inches taller, I would go up a weight class, but I'm not 2 inches taller.
Yeah.
I'm fucking 2 inches shorter than what I tell everybody that I am. And so if I can make 125, that's where I'd be, dude. I am just not, just don't have the length that I need to be, you know, to be a little taller.
What's your favorite restaurant in Sacramento area?
Origami Asian Grill is probably my favorite place to eat. It's I think it's like East Sac or Midtown area.
I know what that's at.
My buddy owns it, but I discovered that place mostly because I found it as a way I could always get something semi-healthy and I could always indulge at the same time too. Like they got fried chicken, or you can get like a rice bowl. So I mean, they just have so many options to doll it up to a way of your liking, and the chefs are just masters of their craft, and that's something that I've held like a respect for of anyone. Like if you're good at whatever it is that you do, you could be the best chess player. I'm gonna be interested in that if you're like at the highest level, right? And then I, in my opinion, think that the chefs at Origami are at the highest level.
Where's that?
They have some good ratings there.
East Sac.
East Sac. It's like on next to Hawks kind of area. What is that next to Alhambra and Folsom?
How many carbs?
Carbs on their bike, or
No, when you go eat there. Like typically when you go there, what are you having?
Honestly, I try to not go out. So one of my rules is not to visit any restaurants on the weekday.
Okay.
So typically I just try not to eat out at all. The self-control I have is almost non-existent if I go somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
not
get it.
because like
You created eating disorder as a fighter.
yeah, wrestling, all
Yes,
that, and it's
most-
like you try to play a reward system. Like, oh, you tell yourself like, oh, you've earned it. Like, no, man, you didn't earn anything. Like, I'm still fucking too big for my weight class. Like, there's all these other things.
You're like, I can get this 3,000 calories in me in this one
I'll get it off
meal.
tomorrow. And it's like, it just doesn't work like that. And it's a terrible way to think. It's a terrible way to live. And I've just created some rules that have really helped me throughout my life. But yeah, if I go there, man, I'm getting almost, I mean, it's like, dude, if you're going to go, you got to go, right? Like, if you're going to be there, you don't just go there and just like,
Yeah.
oh, I want a salad.
You got to try. Yeah. I mean, you don't go to a restaurant unless it's
I get
something
the
that you can't
fucking-
cook at home.
The banh mi is probably my favorite. The pork belly is probably some of the best pork belly
love
I've ever.
pork
Have you ever
belly.
had pork belly?
Yeah.
Dude, so it's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
big bacon strip, but it's like not bacon. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway,
It is.
so I'm from Michigan, dude. We didn't have restaurants like this. I was familiar with like Big Boy and like Wendy's and like those were my restaurants.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah,
and
like I don't
sausage.
even know, dude. Ramen, like so. When I came to Sacramento, I had like friends. They're like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna go get some ramen." I'm like, top. Like, you guys eat ramen, and like, there's like ramen snobs out here. Like, that's a real thing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was
like-
so being from Michigan, I only
like
ramen,
real ramen, yeah.
like the only ramen I even knew in existence was like top ramen from. The
When did you
package.
move
Fire.
out here from Michigan?
2011.
Okay.
Chicken.
And
flavored.
I'm not on my life. I did not know it was like a legit like food that people would like seek out at a restaurant. And so every time I'd go, I was like, all the fucking things here, you're gonna eat ramen? Like, it didn't even make sense to me. You're like, oh, dude, you don't like ramen?
Oh, so
Like,
good.
So
and I'm-
good.
Yeah, well, I'm an idiot for that. It is
Yeah.
good.
It's like
My family.
it's so good. It's medicinal.
Yeah, dude, seriously, is, dude.
It's just
Fukumi, Fukumi
yeah,
down the
the
street is
broth.
so good.
Yeah, well, apparently there's people that go
Shoki.
out and leave like reviews everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there's like ramen.
Guilty.
stuff.
We always like Shoki. You guys go there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shoki was an old. They reopened actually. They closed down and
Amazing.
then reopened. I haven't been to their new spot, but they're apparently when they split up. Here I go geeking out on it. They just. I was selling beer to the both spots, and they just had like too much going on. They spread themselves thin and didn't really. Like it reduced the quality, and now they're just focused back to one spot, which is I'm excited to go back over there.
So we're always trying to. Oh yeah, here we go.
yeah, now
So
you're gonna make me
Vince,
hungry.
we're always trying to do carb stacks. You know, we do the double carb, we would do the triple carb, and then sometimes we would achieve on some meals the quadruple carb.
Dude,
And so like Thai food, we're
Dude,
hitting.
oh, man, I could go
so
for
we're
some
hitting
Thai
the
food right now.
rice with noodles
I haven't
and
had that.
potato.
Yeah.
On the same dish.
Yeah, but you're tall, dude. I can't get away with that, bro. I look at this, I fucking gained 2 pounds right
Also,
now.
you got to make weight. You know, you got to make weight.
dude. Like, I'm not kidding. Right now, boom, I'm 2 pounds heavier. I'll go home and weigh myself and send you. It's not even kidding.
Just from showing.
But
Yeah.
that's a pretty good
I'm gonna
carb
drink. What do you
stack.
think? I'm drinking fucking death water, bro. Or like,
Yeah.
like, how do you think my diet's going?
Yeah.
But I
Came
do
in
this-
normal-
like death. while I'm drinking my
I
water.
do this phantom eating where I wake up and I'm half asleep and I'll go into the kitchen and I'll hit like 1,000 calories or something.
Yeah, in the middle of the
for
night.
no reason.
In the middle of the
checked
night.
out.
Can we talk about that for
It's
a
just
minute?
like calorie
Do
deficit.
you have that as well? Do you ever have that? Like, do you
No.
train late at night or like in the evening or just in the...
I knock out most of my stuff in the morning now since having a son and stuff like that. I don't train after like 5 at the latest. But no, man, I actually set a rule.
Dude, fuck these rules, man. Like,
I
have you just
know,
wake up and you're
dude.
like, I need food?
Not since I was like in high school or maybe like in my early 20s, but like the last like 8 years, I haven't eaten past 8, but more than
Oh
10
my
times a
God,
year.
you're so...
What a loser.
diligent.
Trust me, I would make fun of myself too.
You're such
But
a professional.
Not at all. That's the thing. If you knew how terrible myself I have these rules to keep me in check. If you ever see, like, take me out to dinner, dude, you just be like, dude, what is it's not even human.
He's like
What is
Sal,
wrong,
just like
dude?
dripping food
It's
on
just-
himself while he's eating.
I'm just sitting here looking. It's like 7:59. You're like, dude, you got 1 minute to eat. And I'm just like, fucking, because that's the rule, dude. If I want,
Have you ever
cake,
done all
I'll
you can eat
fucking it.
sushi on the 90-minute time
Dude,
period?
No, but have you ever seen no?
I hate when they do that. I'm like, really, an hour and a half? Do you think that I'm going to sit here for an hour and a half and like keep eating? Like,
Have you seen a
I'm
sushi
done
train?
in
Do
40.
they have those out here?
Dude, they got a place called It's owned by Fukumi, the ramen place. It's called It's Sushi. It's near Foothills, kind of like 10 minutes away from here, and they have.
Do they have a train? No.
They don't have the boat, but they have all you can eat sushi.
So is
It's
that a
pretty damn
thing?
good.
So I went to
The boats?
Australia. And that was the first time I got to experience like this the where it comes on the
sushi
conveyor
boats.
belt.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the like, dude, this is like they should have this in America. And he goes, mate, they have it everywhere. I was like, what are you talking?
Go down to
I was
Arden.
like, what the fuck? I've never seen one of these in my life. And the
I've never
plates-
seen one either.
Dude, the plate, they're just like roll after roll, and I'm like, doof, doof, doof.
They got a cool spot down
You don't pay for a thing until you eat it all.
across the street from the Arden Fair Mall. They have this place. It's like it's a robot sushi spot, and it's a little revolving place, and a robot
Yeah, you
like
sit at the
comes up
counter.
to you, and he like a white robot, and he serves you your drinks. So like you order at the table, the robot comes over, gives you the drinks, and then you just like choose what you want, and then it like comes up on like a little like
Man, that's
thing.
wild.
And then you just take it's crazy. It's pretty cool. It's like very Japanese.
Yeah,
I've never
I
been
have
to
a
Japan,
beef with
but-
sushi to be a beef. That's funny. I have, my biggest thing was this: like, I like it. I think it's too much. Like, one, it's super expensive, and I have to eat a ton of it. Like, it's not the food that I can afford to indulge in.
Yeah.
And I always come out looking like the Michelin Man. Like, there's so much sodium in there, dude. You
tons,
could just
yeah.
like throw a dart at me, and I'm just,
Dude, we went and there's this place called Oma. Oh, I can't remember what the fuck the name is, but they serve omakase, and it's like coursed sushi. Crew does it, but there's a new place.
Cruise the spot. Too,
Yeah,
man.
Cruise
They're
hella
fucking-
good.
They crush.
But there's this new spot right next to Ginger Elizabeth's, and it's
That Arden or something.
and no, it's right on R Street or R in like 15th, 14th, but it was like it was like fucking $500 for the two of us. It was so expensive.
So
it was a
the-
birthday gift,
the
but
You get
Sushi-
$500 worth of food.
it was so good.
The
Like I'm
sushi-
not kidding you. It was not many things.
That's what I'm
I
saying,
can't
though,
imagine
like-
anything else is worth that, but like that
That's
was
what
a
I'm
level
saying,
of food that
like,
really killed. It
I
killed.
can-
But it's like a fancy food. As far as I know, I used to have a student from Tokyo, and we used to go party a little bit. But the sushi is more like a special occasion, and it's not like a normal. Like the ramen in that is more like what you would normally eat.
Normally, yeah.
Yeah.
The
level of-
They just made it like they commercialized
They
it, and
said
now
it
they
was-
got it at the grocery store.
So that's what
Right.
he was
You get
saying.
a Starbucks.
So we get all the Japanese guys at the gym, and they're just like, bro, this is so Americanized. We're like, we
Super
don't
weird.
eat. This is not like what it's like in Japan at all.
It's like
You
Taco
guys
Bell
don't eat
Mexican.
rolls? Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like
I mean, it's so
he's like,
true.
He's like, what are all these sauces like?
Try it. It's fire.
Umami. Yeah. Try it. It's
This-
mayonnaise.
This is a rainbow roll.
They like it, but they're just rainbow.
This is the Fair Oaks roll.
Dude, they fucking love it. Incredible roll, like yeah. We love us some Makuna
What do you mean you
stuff.
put my sushi roll inside the oven?
Yeah,
What?
that's so American.
So Vince,
we baked it,
Cheese and mayonnaise.
deep fried.
Vince,
Literally.
you're a good pad holder. You hold pads really well.
Yeah, I used
I
to be
watched you.
heavily into coaching for change the topic super quick. Yeah, I used to be heavily into coaching. It was something that I was super passionate about for a long time. It's just something I found myself only wanting to be more involved if I knew it was something that I could really commit to as a person and like the individual. I wanted to make sure if I did hold for someone that they got 100% of my attention and time to equip them with what they were coming expecting to get. And I felt like it spread me really thin trying to focus on a career and my son and all these other things. And a lot of me did enjoy it. But like part of me just felt like I knew that I was not giving my full attention to it at times when I know like the client, like I felt like could get more, like I could deserve more of my attention. And like I just trained 2 sessions in the morning and I got 3 clients back to back and I'm like banging them out. One of them's fucking 250 pounds. My fucking shoulders are, just like, dude, you're hitting the bag today. Like,
Yeah.
And, no, I used to I do pride myself on my ability to coach and my ability to hold pads and stuff. It's something that I studied, religiously. And
So did you study from different holders? Was it from your coach or?
so there's a guy named Darren Cruikshank. He's out of Michigan. He's kind of like my first mentor to this day. And he's one of the most talented individuals in martial arts I have ever met. He comes from a very traditional background of martial arts, we did Wing Chun, stick and knife fighting, like everything. Like you wouldn't believe it. If you want to pull up Darren Cruikshank, you would be see a real beast.
But he's a good pad man, huh?
He is nobody can do it like him in my opinion.
That's awesome.
And he's so realistic. Like he can do a fight sim on pads. And he's so good. He can throw kicks at you like and hold pads at the same time. And I can do it too, but like not as naturally. Like he looks like a kickboxer pad holder.
Yeah, like a technician.
Yeah, dude, and he's as clean as anyone I've ever seen. And his fighting style, he's easily one of the most talented humans I've ever met.
What's his last name? Cruikshank?
Cruikshank.
Cruikshank.
Crui. Yep.
Get hit with the hook from the Cruikshank.
Cruikshank.
But yeah, there's a lot of good fighters, but there's a lot of bad pad holders.
Yeah, dude, you'd be surprised.
I watch him and I laugh.
So you'd be surprised. Like, not only that, but like you look at most fighters can't even wrap their fucking hands. And every time I see, I'm like, bro, you don't even put them on. Just you'd be surprised at how like some of these guys just know how to take direction and fight. Like you can't always do both.
Right.
It's Daron.
That's a cool specialty skill that you got there.
It is, man. I mean, yeah, I've spent a lot of time, and then I've just spent even more time developing what works with me. And then I worked with boxing coaches, and that one's sick. He beat Diego Brandao. That was a sweet fight. Dude, look at this fucking guy.
All right, so here we got Darren Cruikshank and Diego Brando.
Plus 10 horsepower for that mustache.
Holy shit.
Dude, watch this. So this
guy's a real Midwesterner right there.
I love dude. This is cool.
He's all 4 degrees with wind chill fucking.
Bro, he probably came off the Hulk Hogan.
Dude, that looks like BJ Penn, kind of.
He's looking fit.
So, yeah. Just wait till he gets going, bro. He's fucking...
What card or what organization is this?
This is Risen.
Risen.
Yeah, so basically, what was Risen before? Not Dream. Pride.
Oh, okay. So Darren was your original coach?
Yeah, he's the one that got me into fighting. He was the one that I remember... when I wanted to turn pro, I was like, do you think I could be a pro fighter? And if you ever heard the guy talk, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. I'd be like, fuck yeah, man, you can do whatever you want. He's just so fucking cool, dude. Darren is, the way he lives his life is, he's truly lead by example type of guy.
That's awesome.
He's the kind of guy who'll go out there and die on his shield. He does the sport for the love of it. He don't give a fuck about nothing about going out there and putting on a fucking show. And I've always loved that about him. He's I'll go out on my shield kind of guy. I mean, he's fucking good. Just it picks up here.
Oh yeah, there.
What round? Can I see what the length of the fight is?
6 minutes.
Okay, so we can fast forward a little bit. Yeah, let's go a little forward. Go.
The Brazilian presses.
Yeah,
Cruikshank.
I mean, if you don't know who Diego Brandao is, but I mean, he's one of the most decorated Brazilian fighters ever. He fought Conor and all those guys too.
Here comes the American measuring him with the overhand.
It's funny
make it
too,
a world
is
war.
because you do.
Dude, the sidekicks working.
Yeah, and
big overhand right.
The thing, but Darren, I mean, like his style right now is like a little unorthodox, but like if you've ever known him, he can literally do it all. Like if you wanted to see him do Muay Thai, he could do that. If you wanted to see him straight box, like he is good.
I wonder what it's kind of cheating to be able to kick with shoes on.
Yeah, it's interesting.
This is Risen's kind of cool like that because this is kind of like Japan kind of started a lot of these.
Ooh, right in the liver. Yeah, I'd like to kick people with shoes on. It would protect my little toes. Give him that up kick.
He puts that right leg in front with that side kick. He also throws that back kick with that same leg real good. Those will just crack your sternum.
Missed it.
I forgot you could kick
to
in
the ground.
Head. Yeah,
I love that.
I forgot you could kick in the head on this too.
I I mean, it would suck to have that happen. But, man, it does make it look like more of a fight when you...
Well, you should have to pay for shooting. If the guy defends the shot and you're on the ground, he should be able to counter, in my opinion.
Ooh, big overhand right.
Bad injuries happening.
All right, here we go. How much time have we got left?
1.5 minutes.
Let's go towards the end. Not to the end, but keep going. Go right here. See what happens. It's right here. Yeah, let me see. Maybe this is just round 1. I don't even remember what round it was that he finishes him in.
Either way, it's an exciting fight. It's a good first round. Oh.
Yeah, let's go to the round 2. Or see what other... Go back real quick.
Oh, here's round 2. So this is probably the end of it right here.
Okay, yeah. It does say insane knockout, so it's got to be in here, right? I don't know if it's insane. Bink.
Oh, he was about to stomp his head.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's always gnarly when they run into it.
Yeah.
Double the impact.
Double
the fun.
That's like the...
But, I mean,
James.
he's got to, like, if you... It's crazy because you think a guy like that would be, you know, have a bunch more... I mean, he's got a highlight like that for 1,000 fucking fights, man.
It's awesome.
But, like, he just doesn't give a fuck about, you know, being this character. He just cares about putting on fucking crazy shows and just, you know, bringing it to him. He fought Paul Felder. I thought he beat Paul Felder, but he fucking sidekickedsidekicked Paul Felder right in the fucking face. Like, anyway, he taught me basically a lot. You know, he's what really got me into holding pads, and I had to hold for him at times because I was like his little protege at the time. And yeah, man, I've took a lot from him, and it is definitely a skill, and not a lot of people can do it. You know, it takes a lot of time to understand how to make it work, where to hold, and what makes it realistic. You know, a lot of these guys are holding it out here, and
so many approaches to it,
there
right?
is, for sure.
And then
So that overhand right we just saw.
Overhand jump right knee.
Let's talk about the overhand right that laid Ngannou out.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. Here we go.
So this made it out of the first round, right?
I only saw I woke up to it.
Yeah.
Let's just see the
3 knockdowns in the fight.
Oh
Jesus
man, there's
fuck.
one. All right hands.
And see, this is what I'm talking about. Where like I've told you, like you experience tough times in fighting, and you have to like, you know, have these internal dialogues with yourself of like getting back in there, like. That's what makes it.
These
so
guys
cool.
are huge.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Oh, I know. I mean, when I saw him hit him with that overhand right, I mean,
Joshua knows what he's doing here. He's waiting for that left hand. Bang! He tried to time it again right there. He just barely missed. See, right when he moved his left hand, that right hand was so fast.
You can already tell that Francis is
Right there. Oh, watch when he moves his left glove.
like frustrated and trying to get his game going.
Not trying to land that jab, just trying to bait him to throw that. Just trying to bait him to throw the left.
Francis is also
got a good look at it.
biting on everything.
Yes. Walking forward, standing right in front of him. Oh, they saw what the corner man, the old trainer, the $1 million trainer is going to tell him exactly what to do. But they look like they read him right away.
Tyson Fury.
yeah, he was right there. His reaction to seeing it at the end was like priceless.
Bang! All right on the temple there.
Jesus.
Oh man.
So he's probably still a little concussed from the first shot. That one really injured him. And then here comes the one he never sees.
Yeah.
Oh.
And one of the things they tell you too, man, is get right back on them. You know, that was one of the first things I learned. If there's a separation,
boom, right back on him.
Jesus.
Yeah. What a knockout.
That's tough to watch, if I'm being honest.
Because that's a professional versus. I mean, yeah, it's a professional, but this is a tactician.
You know,
boxer.
I think it's easier to watch as a spectator, but someone that's like been in the sport and experienced getting punched in the head.
People forget that you come away with brain injury in this sport.
Sure. What's for sale?
Try to go with the long guard.
Not everyone, but it happens. And then these kind of knockouts where you get concussed and then you get hit again that hard within a short period of time, those are the ones that can really hurt. But we were talking about it, Nagano and the things that he's done. How much did he make for this fight?
Hopefully enough.
Millions
20.
of dollars, and he's been in the fight game for only a handful of years, right?
Yeah.
So you got guys that have spent 20 years in the game. They have never made a $20,000 payday.
Yeah.
Nagano just made enough. Every person in his team and his whole family just got fed with that one fight.
Yeah.
So he won. If he doesn't have some kind of brain damage, he won ultimately.
Yeah.
Good point. And on that Jake Paul and Tyson fight, how much are they gonna? What is that? Going to be like a exhibition, or are they really going to be headhunting? And
another one of these Jake Paul productions.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people are. I mean, Mike Tyson's damn near 60 years old, right?
That's hella old.
Even on like you're talking about a Mike Tyson, and even when he was on his way out of the sport, didn't have a ton of success. Like even when he was exiting, well, I wouldn't even say it was his prime because it wasn't, but he was. Towards the end of his career, was it 2003 or whatever, when he was just, he wasn't doing he wasn't doing very well. So it's like, even you look at that, and then you're fighting a guy that's stepped away from the sport for another 20 years on top of that, 25 years on top of that. Like, that's like, you're great at golf. You step away from the sport. Can you go fucking play a good round of golf?
Yeah,
you can still hit the fucking ball, sure.
Right.
But like, you're not going to be, Tiger Woods, like who you were when you were fucking slaying it.
No,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
But they're banking on that there's a market for this, and it's not exactly the normal
they're
fight
banking
fans.
on it because they're selling that.
Yes,
that's what
they're
selling.
marketing.
That's frustrating because they're selling you fucking bullshit.
It's entertainment boxing.
Yeah,
it's this new thing. Right?
Netflix. I didn't know it was on Netflix.
That's what sucks too. Is just because like you got a guy like Mike Tyson who's like an idol to a lot of us in the combat sport industry, who's sacrificed a lot to get the name that he has, and he's put in real hours. He's been hit in the head for real, and he that's what we sell when we fight is our brain a little bit, a piece of ourselves, and he sold all. You know what I mean? He gave himself to this sport. All for Paul to just kind of come in with a big name and give him a payday. It's just, it doesn't sit well.
Yeah, and it just shows the power of marketing and the social media and advertising money and
I heard that photo's like 20 years old and it's photoshopped.
Wow.
I heard that. I'm not kidding. I heard that tattoo on his chest is photoshopped.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that tattoo on his chest, the girl.
But there's so many great legit boxing matches happening, but people don't see it, or it's not the mainstream thing, right? Both of these, there's so much advertising that these guys are mainstream.
Like, I want him to make his money, but I just wish it were in a different way.
Crawford Eubank Jr. just got announced.
Yeah.
There's
still a huge market.
It's just Canelo fights next.
It's just a new thing.
Yeah.
Who do you think Canelo's going to?
Speaking of show business and movies, did you guys see Dune?
I have not.
Nope, not yet.
I don't go to the movie theaters, but I have seen the first one and looking forward to this one.
Go see Dune.
Is it good?
Is it good?
It was good.
There hasn't really been any good movies out in a long time.
Right. And I don't go to the movies often either. And me and wifey went out to see Dune, and it was awesome. Let me tell you, the score, the music for the film, amazing. I mean, we were sitting like right by the speakers, but it's like, and it just vibrates the whole thing. And you can definitely tell that it's the same guy that did Blade Runner, and it's very Blade Runner-esque.
Blade Runner's awesome.
The whole imagery, and it really immerses you in this other world. Also, you gotta love that the two old men in it are the guys from No Country for Old Men.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? It's the assassin with the cattle prod.
Oh, yeah.
And the cowboy.
Yeah.
I don't know their names, but the movie's awesome. It is 3 hours long, but
even better.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Get your money worth.
You're really immersed in you're in it. Also, the villains in it. So they took some stuff, just like everyone does. They borrowed some ideas. Like, look at Gladiator. And
they're inspired.
Yeah, but the villains take little like that. It's like Darth Vader without his helmet.
Yeah, this very Star Wars.
And he has like stuff keeping him alive. And then there's a scene.
Whoa,
there's a
what
scene
the
in a
fuck is
duel
that?
where the guy grabs the other guy's sword.
Barehanded.
Yeah, and that's from Rob Roy. Have you guys
Nice.
seen Rob Roy with Liam Neeson?
Right.
Yeah, the end scene, the dude's and he grabs the sword and it cuts him to the bone with his hand, but then he cleaves him with the other hand.
Ugh.
You know, it's awesome.
That is gnarly.
Yeah.
So that's just catching your sword just barehanded and then sticking you with their sword. You're like, fuck, I lost.
I can't.
Yeah.
I have to say though, if we're talking about this or anything movie related, the creator of Dragon Ball Z, had passed away.
I heard that.
a couple days ago. So rest in peace to my man.
Rest in peace,
Yeah.
anime.
I've seen so many
Please pronounce his
memorials for
name.
that guy.
Yeah. It's Akari Tornomi. Anyway, rest in peace. I'm sorry, I can't say your name. It's not American. I have brain disease and I can't speak. But yeah, man, I grew up on that show, and I know a lot of people did, but I mean, that was like
Dragon Ball
that
Z
my
was
shit.
Cozy,
That's why
too.
I bleached
So
my
sick.
hair, dude. I was fucking leveling up.
Oh,
dude.
yeah?
Kosi is
Super
like
rainy.
is stuck in a movie. He think yeah.
He loves anime.
What else do we got on the agenda, dog?
Yeah. What about
I feel like we didn't talk anything about fighting.
I know.
Fight stuff. We just went.
Well, we
A
just
lot
had
of
some
cycling
fights.
and-
We had some local fights. We fought down in Oakland at Legends Promotion. That's
Is that a Dragon House thing or no?
no, that's Crew Sam down there in World Team USA. He's one of the old promoters in San Francisco.
Oh, cool.
And he does this. Here's some shots. Actually, this is from Rising Stars.
Do we have anything from the other one?
Legends.
No, we don't.
You can look up Legends Promotion on Instagram.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything for Berto's.
No, you don't have to. That's good too. But yeah, that was a fun time. We had our super heavyweight Berto fought down there, and he fought a guy. Yeah, Berto's big, like 230, 235. This guy was like 265.
Yeah.
Jeez, real
And I mean,
heavyweight.
yeah, and I mean they're both heavyweights, but still like that. 30 extra pounds, man, this guy, he absorbed every shot. Like, and that's what it was. It was like him coming forward at my fighter, and Berto was launching all different attacks, and it was like Godzilla. This guy would just take these shots and just keep coming.
Yeah.
And we dropped him in the second with the hook, and the game plan and strategy worked well. Berto was well conditioned, looked sharp, but this guy just got up and he just kept coming. So round 3, I just told Berto, let's go, protect your points. Don't let this guy flash knock, crack you on the ropes. Let's go home. And yeah,
took it.
Berto's still undefeated. He's going to be going out to Thailand pretty soon.
sick.
He swears he's going to lose 45 pounds. He's road to 185.
Yeah.
185 now. Holy
love
shit.
it.
I'm like,
man.
no. I was
He was
like,
road to
your
205.
skeleton weighs 180.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. And then, so this is from Rising Stars 5, which is right here in Sacramento. And we originally had 2 guys on the card, and one guy
I was
canceled.
supposed to be on it too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we were trying. But one of the opponents canceled because he's coming from Reno, and there was that blizzard.
Oh yeah.
And-
With
and-
Tahoe.
yeah,
couldn't
so-
get through. There's no way.
Well, so several days before, it's sunny. And we're like, and he cancels the fight 3 days before the fight. And we've done the whole training camp. My guy's sitting on weight. We're ready to put on a show. And my guy's legit looking to make a title run. Like we're gonna go for the title with this guy. So we got plans. But they cancel out of the fight. So what do? We're like, what? Like you can't pull out of the fight.
Yeah,
like,
we were stoked to see Encho fight, man. That was going to be.
we were gonna the promoter was gonna give him extra nights in a hotel.
Yeah.
Then the promoter offered to rent him a 4x4.
No way.
Yeah,
You-
and then I was like, "Well, I'll just send one of the boys." I was like, "Boys,
We'll
who has a
fucking send
truck?
you a
Just
fucking
send
truck.
Sal
We'll
up
come
there.
pick you up.
I'm gonna send one of the guys up to pick him up. Like this fight needs to happen." But then the storm hits, and I look at Palisades Summit at Squaw Valley.
Yeah.
190 mile an hour gusts on the
Whoa.
summit. I'm like, okay, that's understandable.
All right.
Yeah.
You get a pass.
Yeah, but
Or anything less than that.
But our other guy, we had a new guy, Andrew. He made his debut, and he did really, really well. Fought a tough opponent and got the job done. Listened to the game plan, and it's another debut guy. I love. Our program is still producing new fighters. It's not just my old guys from 10 years ago, which are still in the mix. But the UFC Rockland's producing a lot of new guys, and these guys are pretty good.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, they're still on probation. We're watching them closely. You know, we're gonna keep grooming them, making sure they're doing their work. But these local shows are a lot of fun. You got any clips? Is this Andrews? Yeah.
Vince, I wanted to ask you about the like, I know you dabble in some psilocybin chocolate stuff here and there, and I kind of wanted to, like, I'm a fan of psilocybin.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Psilocybin?
Magic mushrooms. Not chaga, not reishi, but the ones
real
with the little blue spores on it.
Yeah.
Chris, have you heard of this stuff? Okay. Humboldt County. Chris
So,
in the house.
I just kind of wanted to, like, since it's more of a topic people are getting comfortable bringing up, and some people are dabbling in the business aspect of it, trying to get things up and running for edibles and whatnot, kind of like marketing. What brought you to finding psilocybin, or what was the crossover between like MMA and psilocybin, or was
it was still similar to like my brain disease thing. At the same time, I wouldn't say I was like super depressed or anything, but I drank a lot. I wouldn't say I had a problem, but it was it was a regular occurrence for me to indulge in alcohol, and just like my ability, like when I eat, gotta do the job, right? So just like drinking, if I was gonna have a drink, I was gonna finish.
No self-control.
Zero self-control when it came to drinking. And if you know anybody that knows me knows that is like spot on. Like, I was terrible at managing the way I drank. I made even worse decisions. It was, I oftentimes was waking up and figuring out who I needed to apologize in the morning, a little more too often. But
the slut walk?
Yeah. So anyway, when I had brain surgery, one of the requirements for me being able to compete again was that the bypass was incredibly functioning, and it grew, and the blood flow was like triple the size, and I had to check a lot of boxes, right? And quit drinking, that wasn't necessarily like the goal. It was just like I wanted to give my body every opportunity to heal with like no hindrance. So I kind of just gave it up for like a little bit. At least that was the plan. Like just for my checkup to be able to compete again. I wanted to do everything right. That was no stone left unturned, right? Because fighting was really important to be able to come back to. And I figured, so I quit drinking basically, and psilocybin was something that was brought to my attention, kind of like microdosing, and a buddy was just telling me about it, and I kind of dabbled in it a little bit, and I experienced.
Was this buddy just like a buddy, or did he have any knowledge, like education, like in science back or anything, or is it just kind of like, dude, try these mushrooms?
Like, I definitely had to be convinced. I was like, bro, I don't know, man. I'm not really trying to go to the moon or anything. Like, that's not where I want to go. And he's like, oh, bro, it's not like that. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't really want to see anything. And he goes, no, anyway. And so, I think education was huge. I probably put it off for a bit, but after I indulged in it a little bit, and the more I got familiar with it, I really got passionate about like the therapeutic, things that it was able to give me. I started thinking different. I felt like it was my relationships with my peers were better. My relationships with myself were better. My internal dialogue was getting better. Speaking with myself, and I wasn't abusing it. I would just utilize it from time to time, especially in social settings. I'd say that's probably where I used it the most. If I knew I had to be somewhere where I didn't want to partake in drinking, I would take some psilocybin. And
about how much would you take during these
I don't know, probably less than a
explorations?
gram, maybe like half a gram, but mostly just because, like, if you've ever not drinking around people that are drinking, you're like, man, they are like retarded. Like, I don't know why I would, like, is that how I look when I drink? I was like, Jesus, like, I would have to be drunk to hang out with these fucking idiots. But anyway.
Typically the case,
so psilocybin helps with that.
It's because your awareness is at 150%.
Yeah. Instead of being annoyed, you start to, like, entertain that. You're like, oh, you silly little fuck. Like, how the fuck? You know what I mean? You start, you just get on a deeper level. And I think psilocybin has the ability to just connect with humans and like remove, your ego a little bit of like check your, like, you're not better to like just because they're drinking, like it's
like the opposite effect of alcohol.
Yeah,
almost.
you just want to have a good time, and more importantly, you want them to have a good time. So you're kind of like creating conversations,
trying to facilitate that energy of like, it's not to get all like hippy dippy on it.
I know,
but like,
dude, and it's hard not to, but it's fucking true.
I know, because you're
cool.
like, unless you've like been there, you don't, that energy of feeling like, like, I just want things to be good.
Yeah,
like, I'm just
and
trying
dude,
to
it's
spread a positive vibe.
Definitely best experienced with people. I think, and especially if they're both partaking, but that doesn't have to be the case. And you just connect on a level that I think is not as easy to connect on. It allows you to enter like a different state in your mind, because your mind's got all these walls and barriers up, and it's it's thinking in the terms of me, which is we're humans, like that's gonna exist, but like it has the ability to like bring that down and care for others. And I say it like this is terrible. I hope none of my family actually leaves this, but it's like, imagine being at like Thanksgiving dinner or something, and you got to create conversation with like your in-laws that you don't normally talk to, right? And you just like with
it's like this.
You can't do it.
So you just pop a couple mushroom caps and you're good to go.
Come on the podcast.
Suddenly you are you have the ability to have a genuine conversation with people you didn't think. You just get out of your own fucking way. You're like, how's your fucking job? And they're like, oh wow, like, really? Like, tell me more. Like, you do what? Like, you actually care, which is why it's even crazier. Because like, you're not just bullshitting them like you normally would be. You do care.
It brings down those walls, those adult walls.
You're not actually a piece of shit human, kind of,
It makes you childlike, where you're like curious and you don't
boosting
have
serotonin.
It does, and I don't want to like persuade anybody like to take it and stuff, because it definitely comes with a lot of responsibility, and it can be abused, right? And it's
absolutely.
Like, that's not why I would like to. Like, that's why education is so important, because you don't want to see people have a bad experience, because it has so much to offer. And I think especially therapeutic, especially if somebody's going through something and they're looking for an answer, or they're just looking for some sort of release, it has so many healing benefits that I can't tell you how many times it's helped me, whether it just be a tough day or whether it just be something that I'm trying to overcome, and I need guidance and like an answer, or how to talk to somebody, or whatever.
How about the focus effects on it?
Focusing.
So have you ever taken any microdoses before training?
I have.
Or cycling or anything like that?
Cycling I have quite a bit. MMA.
That flow state.
So the flow state is super.
It's hard.
It's super real. Now, I've never had a really good experience on it, because psilocybin has the ability to amplify whatever it is you feel. So if anxiety is something that you feel in sparring, right? Like for me anyway, I've heard people take it during sparring and have good times with it. And I didn't take it much, but for me it's like, I'm not anxious about getting hit, but when you're you have an alarm system, right? And like, when you know that there's a consequence for getting hit, you're already thinking about it. So now it's just heightened.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about that. I wouldn't say that I was like hesitant, but I know that I was like ultra aware of like, oh, people are trying to hit me in the fucking head. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, it can be probably utilized for that too. Again,
I felt like Anderson Silva on it, man. I'm just like,
you probably took too much if you thought that. I don't know how else this. Like,
speaking Brazilian.
Yeah, Portuguese. They're like, bro, kill the Playboy.
You're speaking gibberish.
Yeah,
but it's the ancient medicine, though, right? It's something that's been around a long time.
I know. I think it gets a bad rap for sure.
And then you see it, used through history. It being introduced in micro doses at a medical level and being studied, that's really interesting. And then also bringing it into the conversation about supplementation and what athletes are actually using. And I mean,
And
people
for the
are
brain,
always
the PTSD.
Well, you always hear, what are athletes doing? What are they doing? Steroids? You never hear about the other stuff, even like sleep aids, muscle relaxants, anti-inflammatory things.
Arnica gel.
There's
that on a bruise?
There's all this stuff. I was joking with Vince about how I stole my wife's asthma inhaler, and before I hit the bike run, I used the albuterol. Which is a completely legal
And it
thing.
gets you it gets you a little jacked up too.
Yeah,
a couple of hits of that albuterol.
Yeah, doc told me to be careful with that. Like you get a heart palpitation in the first 10 miles.
Oh shit!
You don't want that. But but yeah, it's interesting hearing an athlete talk on it, and I've known of it being used.
My first thing was like, I wouldn't suggest like can it definitely be used for an athlete? Sure. I would just say that it's like, don't seek it for that purpose only.
Yeah, it's
or
like
for your
marijuana,
main thing, like I've seen people train under the influence of marijuana, but
or
I
just for,
think
like, recovery and
psilocybin
stuff.
has so much more to offer than just like you're looking for a good day at the gym. Like you could rely heavily on a better pre-workout than you can psilocybin, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it just has so many it's nurturing, it's loving, it's caring. Like the experiences you can have with like people that the people you have relationships are going to be tenfold. I love it. I don't know how else to say it other than that.
You definitely want to be responsible with
I'm
it.
on, a gram right I don't know.
You're holding it together well.
I think to each their own. Some people will just they won't respect it and go crazy on it and
That's
mix
the
it
thing.
with everything
you have
else.
to have a lot of respect for it too, and it's just like anything. There, you need to be responsible. I mean, you can abuse you leave it up to humans, and we fuck everything up. Saying alcohol, caffeine, Tylenol, anything. They've all been abused, and they've all caused harm. And
do your drugs like an adult.
Yeah.
Educate yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else anything else we want to touch on?
We touched on a lot.
Yeah, we did. That was
We came through the journey.
Kicking
Yeah.
Vince, it was great having you here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show with us.
Yeah, we're looking forward to your fight, and then we'll be
May
watching.
17th.
Yeah, May 17th. A1 Combat 20
It's
at
been
the Hard Rock.
2.5 years since I've considered fighting, so it's a big deal for me to come back. I'm excited to come back, better than I've ever been, in my opinion. So I think it's up to me to kind of put that on display and make another run at the big show.
Nice, man. Well, I'm stoked to see you. I'm going to be there, and looking forward to seeing you fight.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Chris, as always, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris.
Old Jamie.
Yeah.
Media Production.
Yeah, the broadcaster, Chris Apex.
Media Apex Production. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Next time. Cheers.